Now that we've cut a perfectly centered truss rod channel, it's time to glue on the stacked heel. The first couple times I glued on a stacked heel, these things really squirmed out of position. And that's not a good thing, because at the end of this video, the last thing that we're going to do, which is cutting the tenon, requires that this stacked heel be as squared as possible to the sides of the neck. So let me show you how I do this. This is a Bessie square body clamp. And for me, these are invaluable tools to keep parts from squirming out of alignment during glue up. I'm going to use them during the stacked heel glue up, and I'll use them later when we glue on the peg head overlay. But for right now, let me show you how I use these to do this stacked heel glue up so it doesn't squirm out of position. I'll take one clamp and clamp one end of the neck down here to keep it from moving out of position. I've got a piece of wax paper underneath my bench, and note that I put a registration mark on the 3 blocks earlier so that they stayed in the same position that they were cut off the end of the neck earlier. When I glue these on, I want to glue them on a little bit past the mark for the end of the tenon. That way I have enough meat, if you want to call it that, to make the first cut when we go to cut the tenon. That looks pretty good. It's important to not over apply or apply too much glue. If you apply too much glue, it really exacerbates the squirming when you go to clamp it. So you should learn to just apply the right amount of glue. You don't want to get it too dry either. Okay. I'm just a hair past the end of where the tenon will be. I'll take my second clamp, and this is where these things really excel. I'll clamp it across all 3 blocks very lightly, and that will keep them from squirming too much out of position while still giving me the ability to clamp this way. I'll put one clamp here. I'm not tightening down too much. And I'll put another clamp here. Okay, when everything is good, I'll remove this clamp, this clamp, then, using my end vise, I'll clamp it this way. That way, I can start to clean up the glue. And I'll put these clamps on the edges here to make sure I get a good clamp. If there's one thing I don't like about these clamps, I suppose I could modify them, is that you have to twist them this way. Ideally, I'd like to have like a handle that you could turn it, but I don't, so I'll have to make do. Check everything, let it dry for about an hour, and we'll come back and take the clamps off.